let's see, we've got a couple more seconds, but I think we can go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Kristen. I'm from Indiana. I'll introduce myself more formally in a couple of slides, but I wanted to start by seeing where everybody is from. So if we got a good old map here, I've turned on the annotation tool. So if you want to use it, it is towards the top of your screen next to where this box is. If you hover, there's an option that says View Options, and then you click Annotate. So you'll do that, and then you'll grab a stamp, and you just select on the map where you're from. So I am going to grab, let's see if I'm going to do that. You're on this one, right? Are you guys seeing the map, or are you seeing the first slide? Okay, let's go to the next one. I think I tried to show you guys how to do the annotation tool, and then this one right here. So go ahead and put a stamp where you're from. Oh, why does it keep doing that? You may not be able to do the annotation thing. Let's try it one more time, see what happens. Nope. That's all right. If you want, you can put in the comments where you're from, okay? And then we'll go from there. Let me turn this off. I think when we try it. Uh-oh. I feel like potentially I've lost control here. Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Kentucky. Good. So a lot of folks from our consortium, Ohio. Okay. Hi, April. Good to see you. My tech folks, you might need to help me out. I think whenever someone selects the annotation thing, it is going back to the other screen. So hopefully we are done with that. Technical issues. All right, so we've got people from all over the place. I wanted to go and see where you would like to be instead of here. So instead of doing annotation, if you could write in the comments where you wish you were instead. And I'm doing this as you guys are commenting over on the side where you wish you were instead. I love activities like this because it gives people a chance to get to know each other. Often when we come into a space with people that are new, we naturally begin looking for community. And when we do that, the easiest thing to do is to be able to categorize by what you see on the outside, race, age, gender, etc. So knowing like what everybody else is into and connecting with each other is a good way to build consensus and community aside from what's on the outside. So we've got Florida, Tennessee, the mountains. Oh, that's where I want to go. I'm with you on that one. Exactly. Oh, Great Smoky Mountains. That's where I would like to go too. Anywhere COVID isn't. Katrina, you are a smart person. I agree with you. Michigan, the Florida Keys, the beach. Yes. So it looks like we've got some commonality here. But the hope is that you can foster some goodwill in the group and that it makes conversation flow easily throughout your time together and that people begin to be comfortable participating in any group. Let's see, the tech people just emailed me. I'm actually going to stop sharing for a moment and then reshare, and then that should fix the annotation thing. Give me a sec. All right, this should make things better. Let's all cross our fingers. We don't have any more tech issues, all right? All right, so let's get started. So again, my name is Kristen. I'm with the Indiana Department of Education. I manage 21st Century for our state. Like I said, I see some familiar faces. I've been working in out-of-school time for over 15 years. camps, service learning projects. I spent some time teaching English in Mexico. I worked in an after-school program for the arts, Girl Scouts, Girls Inc. I've been an art teacher. I've been an English as a second language teaching assistant. I've done a wide range of things. But with all of those experiences, I've always had to manage diverse staff. And one of my main focuses has always been, how can I keep good people on my team? So I've been very focused on staff retention and team building, because, you can't serve kids if you don't have people to come and help you out. So in terms of education, I have a bachelor's in international studies. It's a fluffy sounding degree, but essentially it just means that I've learned about history and culture and how that affects how people behave and act and move in the world. So I also have a master's in business. It was a focus on leadership and human resources and group development and things like that. So this is something I am very, very passionate about, is making sure that not only are we serving kids at our highest capacity, but how are our staff? Are we making sure that they feel valued, that they are set up to succeed, things like that. So I'm hoping that I can make today a meaningful experience for you all. The intent is for things to be interactive and for us to kind of chat with each other, even if it's just through the chat box. So if you are uncomfortable with an interactive session, you feel free to just listen in. That's okay too. But I will have a couple breakout sessions, and I ask that if you don't turn on your camera during breakout sessions, at least turn on your microphone so we can hear you, so there's not a group where someone's just stuck talking to themselves, because that is no fun. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so today we're going to talk about what a positive team culture is, and in terms of details, we'll talk about authentic connections, fostering a sense of community, and then supporting personal and professional development, and then ultimately taking action, making sure that you have a strong culture in your organization. On all of the slides, you should see a link to a Padlet website. It's my Padlet website. It's essentially just a place where I keep all of the tools. So the slides will be there. Anything we do in group breakout sessions will be there. Any tools that I have, I've got like all about me sheets and team building plans and things like that all in one place, personality tests in one place. So that way you guys can go in and dive in and do your own kind of research and reflection after the session is over. And I leave that website open indefinitely. It's been open since 2018. I don't plan on closing it anytime soon. So if you don't want to look at it now, 6 months from now, it'll still be there and you can look at it then. All right. I am worried about you using the annotation tool, so we're going to use the chat box again. But I wanted to ask you all what comes to mind when you hear the phrase positive team culture. So what do you guys think of? What did you think this session would be about? Go ahead and pop it in the chat. Or if you want to unmute yourself and just share, you can do that too. Lori says shared values. Yeah. Communication.
An environment that is welcoming.
A welcoming environment. Upbeat and encouraging. Yes. Supportive communication. Thank you, everybody. Shared vision. Communication is coming up a lot. Support from one another and trusting each other. Yes. Thank you very much. So yeah, that is the goal. We are hoping that folks can come to work and be their whole selves and feel valued and feel like they can communicate and feel prepared to do a really great job and care for those kids. So essentially, yeah, a positive team environment is authentic connections, a sense of community, and making sure that people are able to progress and think about who they want to be, both personally and professionally. The next thing is asking why. Well, why are we even talking about this? Why do we think it's important to have a positive team environment? You guys go ahead and share in the comments. We've already said people getting along with each other. That's important. Yes. Why do we need to talk about this? Same thing in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and share. Cindy, thank you. In order to best serve our families and our students. Staff retention, yes. One of my favorite phrases. Staff retention is so important. Happy staff, happy program, sense of family, success. So people want to show up and do their best. That's key. Do they want to come to work? Everyone feeling a sense of worth. Yes, you guys are on it. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm gonna move on. So yeah, one of the most important things about connecting with your staff is building that authentic connection. So some of you guys already talked about communication, making folks feel like they want to come to work, making things feel positive. That cannot happen unless you have an authentic connection. So that means just a real and genuine connection. Have you guys ever worked with someone and you're like, man, that person is fake and they only talk to me because they want something from me? We have to get past that. And so we have to really, as leaders, we have to take the moment to really sit down and create an authentic connection. So some of the things that you can do are connecting one-on-one. So connecting one-on-one periodically is really helpful. So walking to someone's cubicle or stopping to visit their program or delivering a message in person, or scheduling check-ins with your staff, even if it's just quarterly or twice a year, because I know we're all busy, just making sure that you take the time to talk to everybody one-on-one. You might have some staff that will not open up in a group setting. There could be 20 people in the room. They might have all of the best ideas, but you would never know unless you sat down and talked to them one-on-one. So it's important to give space for some of those personalities in a smaller setting. This is also a perfect time to just kind of find commonality. Are you and a coworker both caring for an elderly family member? Do you like the same sports team? Do you like the same music? Do you like this? Do you like that? Finding commonality is a really good way to build an authentic connection. My next one is so hard this year, but putting your phone down and engaging. Nodding and smiling and acknowledging someone's presence and making sure that they feel like you're really listening to them is so important. If you're not in person with someone, respecting their time. If someone sends you a long email with tons of details, I know nobody wants to read that, but make sure you actually read it so when you see them, you're not having to start from scratch. So read their entire email, read their report, read their message, and be ready to talk about those things so they feel like their time is valuable. And then for us leaders, be more than a figurehead, be more than the boss, be more than the supervisor, especially when you're at employee functions. Get in, put your phone down, engage, and be a part of the group, and don't put yourself on a pedestal above everybody else. The next thing is sharing the spotlight. If your staff is out here killing it, make sure they know about it. If something happens that was done as a group, but one person really stood out, make sure that they're acknowledged. Sharing the spotlight makes people feel valued, and it gives credit where credit is due, and that's so important. I don't like when someone takes credit for something I've done, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same. And then the last one is setting expectations. So this is aside from your onboarding, you're going through the handbook and talking about where you park and things like that. The setting expectations is more about those unspoken rules when you go into a new place. I don't know if you guys have ever started at a job and there's a rule that no one said anything, but it's just really taboo, and you don't know until you hear whispers of people talking about you, or someone, you get in trouble for something, but you had no idea that it's just a part of the culture, but it's not necessarily a part of the guidance, if that makes sense. So my perfect example is I worked at all women's organizations for years and years and years and years. And when I transitioned to the department, it was really difficult for me because I had been used to working with women who had families. So where I work now, if you get a call from your family, you're supposed to step into the lobby and talk to your family in the lobby. You're not supposed to answer your phone at your desk. But where I worked at previously, not only would I answer my phone at my desk, but my coworkers would want to talk to my family and they would want to share with my family. It was a very close-knit community. And it was a hard transition for me to go from a close-knit community to a more hard-line professional environment. And there were small expectations that aren't on paper that no one shared with me that I would have loved to have known. So it would have been easier for me to fit in, right? So when folks come in and they're onboarding and you are concerned about fitting in and making sure that they're doing what you think they're supposed to do, it might be that they just have different expectations or different cultural ways of moving throughout the world, and it might just be a conversation and a meeting in the middle. It might be that they fit in more than you thought they did. They just didn't know. So set those expectations for things that are written and maybe are not written. All right. So yeah, basic connection and respect is so important when building a strong team. I actually have this quote up at my desk from my Angelou. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will remember how you made them feel. So building those authentic connections, making sure people feel valued is so important. All right. So we are going to see if we can get this to work, all right? I'm going to put you all into breakout sessions. If you've ever used Google Slides, go ahead and raise your hand for me real quick. Have you ever used Google Slides? Okay, it's just like PowerPoint, but online. So what I'll do is I will send you to a breakout room. And you're going to answer this question in your group. How many people do we have here? 64. So the tech team, we still put them in 8 groups. So you go in the breakout room, you will talk about what does fostering a sense of community mean in your program and kind of share ideas. And again, I'm going to collect all these ideas and put them in the Padlet so people can look at them later on if you want to share and think about it later. But what you'll do is you'll go into Google Docs and you will find your slide. So if you're in group 1, there will be a slide that says group 1 and you will fill out your responses. I'll actually show you what this looks like here. All right, so group 1, are you all seeing a yellow slide? Just give me a head nod if you're seeing that. Okay, so group 1, in your Zoom room, it'll say group 1 at the top. You'll go into Google Slides and also find group 1, and then you'll add your responses below the question, and you just have them saved. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes to discuss, and then we'll come back, and anybody who wants to share can share. If only 2 groups want to share, they can, and then, like I said, it'll be saved for later on. So the link is here in the chat. Hold on, let me get it to everyone. I'm going to give you all a moment to copy and paste this link. Once you do, if you could give me the reaction button, a thumbs up, a wave or something, let me know that everybody's got it. I see people logging in and, yep. Okay, looks like I've got enough people that are in that you should be good in every group. So when you get in your group, figure out who's going to write, and then if you guys want to share, who wants to share. And if you don't want to share, that's totally fine. I'll give you 5 minutes, and I'll give you 1 minute warning, and then we'll come back to the group and talk about it, okay? All right, tech team, send them to the breakouts. It seems like there's a lot of you left. You should get a pop-up that lets you know that it's time to go. There should be a pop-up that says, will you join group 1 or 6 or whatever. If you have an issue, just unmute yourself and let me know. Tech team, did you set a timer? I didn't look to see. 10:49. All right, it looks like folks are coming back. Good, good, good. Everyone's back. All right, thank you. All right, so does anybody want to share what you all talked about? What are you doing to foster a sense of community in your programs? Like I said, everyone doesn't have to share, but if someone had something especially innovative or compelling, feel free to unmute yourself and share real quick.
Hello, my name is Colleen and I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I was in group 6. One of the things that we talk about specifically, I believe it's Miss Smith, who mentioned that she wrote a note and find masks. And because she was working at home and those who were working at the office, and then she put them on their desk just to let them know how she appreciated of them, which I find that was very neat. Especially during COVID-19, you can never have enough masks. And we also talk about, when someone new in our organization, by having meetings all the time, celebrating their birthday, and celebrating any special events that in their lives, just to let them know that they are appreciated and they do care about them.
Okay, I love this. Celebrating the group, sending personalized notes, sending something that people might need, like a mask. I love that. That's a good way to make people feel like they're part of a community. Thank you. Anybody else? We're running short on time, so it's okay if not everybody wants to say anything. I'll take one more comment if anybody has one. Okay, well, we're just going to keep going. All right, so yeah, so you all kind of grabbed some of these things, celebrating birthdays and special days, graduation, baby showers, things like that, creating meaningful opportunities for staff to contribute their ideas. So asking for feedback and then actually using it, right? It's no fun to ask for feedback and then, it just goes into a trash can and no one ever talks about it anymore. If you're going to ask for it, make sure that your staff knows that you're going to be considering it, making some changes, and it's going to be valuable to them. A couple other things, helping staff learn how to build consensus. Is your staff struggling to get along and figure out how they can come up with solutions to problems? Maybe they need a team building day. You can do the escape room, a ropes course, just a board game day, some training together so they can just get a chance to talk through things. Just carving out that time to help them learn how to build consensus would be really helpful in the long run. Learning about your team's strengths and opportunities and challenges. I love a personality test. At the end of the slide deck, I have a list of my favorite personality tests, but learning what some folks are good at and what some folks struggle with, and then kind of puzzle piecing them together as you put them in teams and put them on projects. Is a really great way to foster a sense of community because I feel like they need each other. They need each other. You're great at this and I'm terrible at this, and then vice versa. When we come together, we make a really good team. That's a really helpful way to get people to build community. A couple other things, encouraging collaboration, creativity, innovation, creating a recognition system, making sure that if you've got goals, your staff know what they are. They can see them visually, they've heard about them, and they're all working together towards that goal. For example, I worked at Girls Inc. or Girl Scouts where we had a membership goal, and everybody had to serve 100 kids. I created this ice cream scoop bulletin board thing where every time someone served 10 kids, they got a scoop, right? And so there was like this cone thing on the wall, and when we got to 10 scoops per person, we had this huge party with ice cream and all the fixins, and it was cool because folks would be like, oh man, you're missing a scoop. Do you need me to go with you to your recruitment event? Because everybody was working towards the same thing and they all were working together for a common goal, and they could see what the goal was and they could see where everybody was. So as long as that is a way to not being competitive is good, but as long as it's a way to help them build each other up instead of tear each other down, I think is a helpful way to build community. We already hit this one, recognizing special holidays and special days. And the last one is prioritizing inclusivity. it originally said be inclusive, but I switched it to prioritize because I think this is so important. There are so many different types of people in our world in terms of religion and race and gender, and making sure that you're prioritizing inclusivity will help you build a sense of community. We have someone on our staff that is Muslim, and every year after Ramadan, after her fast, we all go to an Indian restaurant and we celebrate Eid with her. And nobody else on our team is Muslim, and we're not praying or doing anything that has to do with her religion, but she gets to break fast. We all get excited to sit down and break fast with her because the food's delicious. And she kind of shares her customs, and we get to celebrate with her. And I feel like it's really brought us closer together, and it makes her feel inclusive. She said it's the first time she's ever worked someplace where people were curious about her religion and actually celebrated with her during that time. So it's made her feel valued, and will probably be around for a long time because of it. So. I was going to put us in another breakout, but we are running out of time. So what we're going to do is talk about supporting personal and professional development. And I'm just going to go ahead and go to this next slide. So the first thing is scheduling time for 360 feedback. Haven't you all ever heard of 360s? I'm seeing head shaking no. So a 360 is a chance for everyone to evaluate each other. So I actually was a part of this when I was in AmeriCorps, and we would evaluate our supervisor. Our supervisor would evaluate us, and then we would evaluate our team. So that way, when evaluations came up, it wasn't this anxiety-ridden thing where everyone's like coming to tell you how awful you are, how wonderful you are, or whatever. You're getting a chance to also share your feedback as well. And it's a really good way to hold everybody accountable and make sure that everybody gets a chance to have their voices heard. So if you log into the Padlet, I have I stole the 360 feedback prompts from Public Allies and from AmeriCorps if you're interested in looking to see what that looks like. But I found the experience to be really valuable and helpful, especially when you're in times of conflict, for everybody to have a designate. In January, you're all going to be able to sit down and talk about this specific thing. The next one is creating and opportunities for professional development. So often we will send our program directors to training, but those folks that are on the front lines and working with our kids, they deserve and need training too. And it's not always helpful for those at the higher level to go to the training and then come back and give it to the staff. Sometimes staff needs to go to that training too. Sometimes it's more, they will receive the message more if it comes from someone else. So if you can, send your staff, give them a chance to get professional development too. Find ways to aid in career advancement. A lot of us have younger staff or even older staff that they are in school for something else, or they know eventually they want to go to a different place. How can you support them while they're with you? Does that mean that if you've got a person that's studying biology, can they run all of your STEM programming? If you have a person on your staff that's going to be a nurse, can they learn CPR and first aid, become a trainer, train your district or train all your programs? And that way, when they do become a nurse, this experience has been valuable to them. And as they're working through nursing school, they will stick around longer because you have supported their career advancement. So find ways to help them with their career, knowing that, because of our field, and we hope that people stay their entire career, but more than likely they won't. And so we want them to stay as long as possible and support them while they're here. And that goes along with networking. Is there someone that they should be meeting? Can they go to community meetings? Can they meet your accounting staff if they're going to school for finance? Can they connect with your CEO? Just make sure that they are getting the most out of the experience, just the way that you would want your kids to get the most out of their experience as well. And the last one, build time for your own reflection and professional development. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And also, it is a great example to your staff, acknowledging that you don't know everything as a leader, and acknowledging that there are so many things that you could be improving on, and can help them see you as a human being, and it'll help you become a better person. And them seeing you do that is a really great way for them to also take professional development seriously. All right, so what? So why are we even talking about this? I know we talked about how if you've got a good program, then you know, happy staff, happy kids, et cetera, happy families. But this is actually connected to research. So this actually comes from the After School Alliance, and it pretty much says that if you have really good staff retention, it will help you with help you deliver quality programming, and then in turn, you'll have better student achievement. So from their research, kids had greater gains in reading and math, and improvement in student social skills. So this is important. It is valuable. I know sometimes when you're looking at priorities, you're thinking, man, if I could prioritize this data thing over having a staff birthday party, if I'm going to prioritize the data thing. But if you don't have good staff to in turn serve your kids, all of the other things that you're doing really don't matter. So just make sure that you keep this in mind as you're making decisions financially, about your time, how you'll be spending your time, et cetera. This is an important part of a strong quality after school program. So now what? So what do you guys do now? The first step, like I said, is your personal leadership development. Read some books and articles to learn about your leadership style. Make space and time for reflection. Take time to just sit and think about how are you leading your team? How are you taking time for yourself? How could you be better? And create your own professional goals. And the next thing is understanding your team. Take those personality tests, check in with your staff. Keep a log of your staff's favorite activities, their favorite interests, their favorite foods. In my Padlet, I have an all about me sheet I give to everybody who is hired. And it has like their birthday, their favorite food, their favorite snack, their favorite hobby. So anytime there's a graduation or a birthday or whatever, I can immediately be like, Sarah likes Reese's. I'm putting a Reese's on her desk because she just passed the test, right? And that way she feels like I really, really understand and care about her. But really, I just have a binder that has everybody's information, and it helps me remember. And then the last thing is create a teamwork plan. So if you don't have a plan about how you're going to get your staff all on one page, it's something you should really consider. So that could be that you're going to meet quarterly to have just a check-in meeting, or twice a year you're going to go on a retreat, or everybody's going to take a personality test once a year, and we're just going to assess how we work together. That's completely fine, but it just really helps with that authentic connection and collaboration. This is a really great quote that was also an After School Alliance deeper dive into after school, quality after school programs. And it says, good intentions are not enough. Although money is an issue, the most important resource in after school settings are the people, and their talents and their values should be considered in the change process. If you want to influence real world practices, you must make a concerted effort to inform and collaborate with frontline providers and to support and to problem solve with them as new programs or practices are introduced into their setting. So all I've been saying, support those staff, and then you'll be in turn supporting your kids. I will encourage you to think about this as we leave our time together. What can you do to create a positive staff culture? We don't have time to really dive into that, but as we leave, I might have you write in your in the chat box what you're going to do to create a positive staff culture. But here are some of my resources. So these are my favorite personality tests. If you go on my Padlet, I found free versions of most of these, or like an adjacent version. So like the Strengths Finder is really expensive, very expensive to get the book and go through the assessment. There is a Strengths Finder adjacent version online that's free. If you are struggling with your budget, there's another way that you can do that. I believe the link is there. And if not, you can just Google it. But there's the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, DISC assessment. I think the DISC assessment is really great too, just to kind of figure out who your dominant personalities are and who might be more inclined to sit back. It's a really great way to kind of figure out how you can pull more out of some of your staff, and then maybe have some of your staff rein it in, or take their talents and spread them out wider. So I love these personality tests. I think you should always have some sort of assessment for everybody on your staff, even if you just do it once a year, just so you really understand who they are at their core. Jennifer said, acknowledging their pros, not their cons. Yes, exactly. Because there is value in everyone, but sometimes it takes a little digging to figure out what that is, right? Let's see. Last thing, these are my favorite books on leadership. Like I said, I love Strengths Finder, so Strengths-Based Leadership. Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. Everyone's obsessed with Brene Brown, but this one in particular was really helpful in terms of figuring out my leadership style and figuring out that authenticity piece. I am a big proponent of coaching, so this coaching book is great, and the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace is great as well. So Sydney says she loves Dare to Lead. I'm with you, girl. All right, so here is the link to do the survey. So feel free to copy that and paste that, look at the QR code, and go ahead and do the survey. Thank you all for your time. I will leave that there. And then if you want to write in the chat what you're going to do to support professional development for your staff, go for it. I would love to hear, or if you want to unmute yourself since we have a couple minutes, feel free to share what you plan on doing to make sure your staff has a positive culture. Oh, Sharon uses the disc with her staff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the things too that we do here, since to encourage staff to, because people always want to snack, and so instead of eating snacks that we have for students, I created a staff snack basket, and so everybody just brings snacks in and put them in the basket, and so everything that we have here, we share it, and it's just an open environment to encourage people to share, to bring whatever you just grab from that. And then we also are going to start celebrating staff birthdays. And so so it'll be like a birthday Friday. So on that a particular Friday in the month, then we'll celebrate staff, since people can't go out and do a lot of different things, but you can celebrate and, you know, just do some different things like that. And so,
yeah, I love that. For sure. Yeah, I love anything that includes snacks. So great idea. Thank you. Sarah said a staff shout out board for monthly recognition, weekly meetings, quarterly trainings. Yes. I love a staff meeting at the end of camp with superlatives, you know, takes me back to high school, most likely to fall into the off the boat at camp or whatever. But those like staff recognition, superlatives, things like that are a really good way for people to feel valued.
During our team meetings, we, at the beginning, we always have a time called Share Something Good. And so it gives people an opportunity just to share what's going on in their lives or in their week, about their kids or just whatever.
Yeah, taking chance to share. Amy said she likes keeping communication. If you know what's going on in others' lives, it helps you to understand them more. Small gifts, just noticing and caring.
So I've done something in my staff. Can you hear me, Kristen?
Yeah. Yep.
So something we've done in our staff meetings, and it sounds really, really kind of like out there, but it really works, is you turn to the person to your right and you say, you know, Sharon, what I really like about you is that, you know, you really care about this and that. And then the next person says, you know, to the next person to their right. And so you go clear around the room and you're saying, you know, what I really like about you. And by the time you get to like the third or fourth person, like everybody is feeling warm and fuzzy, and, you know, it goes clear around the room, and it breaks the ice, and it really brings people together.
I like that. Have you guys ever done the appreciation web, where everyone gets a ball of yarn and you toss it? Everyone stands in a circle and you toss it across and you say what you appreciate.
Yes, we've done that.
I love that one too.
Christian, one of the things we do similar to that is that we put postcards on the back of our backs, and everyone goes around and writes something that they like about that person on their back, and then at the end of the meeting they take those off, they take those home, they can read them, and it's just full of affirmations of who you are.
Yeah, I love that. I actually have, let's see if I can find it. Oh, I've got one. where everyone did like a little card. You guys can see it.
Yeah.
It's from the journey. Everyone
Which is
in
where
our
I got
group,
my idea as well.
yeah. But everyone wrote nice stuff on a piece of paper, and then they bound it with a ring. And I actually keep it at my desk. I get low days, right? And I'll be like, let me open this up and read the nice things that people have to say about me when I'm struggling. So tangible notes. I love I can't remember who it was, but somebody shared something about giving notes. I think it's just so helpful, especially this year, right? It's just been a tough year, and it's nice to hear that people see you and they value you. Any other things you guys want to share? If not, I'll send you all on your merry way.
Bye.
All right, everyone, thank you so much. Sorry for the glitches at the beginning. I hope you have a good 21st Century Conference. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.